SCP-299 Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. A 200-meter wide forest of SCP-299 in an underground biodome, Area 299, in the desert. All other specimens encountered are to be incinerated. No plant life is to come into contact with SCP-299 outside of controlled testing. Areas infested by SCP-299 should be considered Class 8 hazard zones, firebombed immediately, and monitored for 4 weeks. Any further infestation is to be incinerated, as well as all wildlife present on the site. Description: SCP-299 is an arboriform organism characterized by black, sharp-pointed branches. Closer inspection reveals that each instance of SCP-299 is connected to the neighboring trees by its roots. Prolonged contact converts these neighboring trees into another instance of SCP-299. This is SCP-299's only known method of reproduction. Addendum 299-1. SCP-299 infection will result from prolonged contact with any material from SCP-299. Conversion time varies by the size of the infectee. Generally, after a few minutes of exposure, the infected plant begins to shed its leaves. Low branches shift downward to a height of 30 to 100 centimeters and taper to a point. High branches retain leaves and shift toward the top of the tree, forming a dense canopy and making overhead identification impossible. Addendum 299-2. Microscopic analysis of low branches reveal that these points are composed of the same material as the rest of infected plant and are remarkably sharp. Direct contact with the point of a branch from SCP-299 is unadvised, as even a sliver of SCP-299 material embedded in skin is known to produce disastrous results. See Experiment Log 299-1. Vine-like tendrils grow upward from the roots of SCP-299, reaching heights of up to 2 meters. These tendrils are prehensile and elastic. Organic objects entering close proximity are violently seized, impaled upon the lower branches, and incorporated into the organism via gradual conversion on the molecular level. Specimens of SCP-299 release chemicals known to spread throughout the immediate area and cause heightened paranoia and aggression in most animals, including humans. Under the influence of these chemicals, groups of people tend to split up and wander the forest alone, making them more likely to pass through an infested area. Addendum 299-3. Examination of material harvested from SCP-299 reveals that the wood is brittle and similar in composition to a single cell of SCP-299 will retain its infectious nature and is capable of reconfiguring an entire organism upon introduction. Experiment Log 299-1. Item: Maple Seedling, Acer Saccharum, ×1. Researcher: Dr. Test Record: a sample of matter from SCP-299 is introduced to seedling. Over 45 minutes, the seedling is completely converted into a specimen of SCP-299, retaining its height and approximate size. Seedling incinerated. Item: Oak Tree, Quercus alba, ×1. Researcher: Doctor. Test record: Oak tree transplanted into containment area of SCP-299. Over 3 hours. The tree is completely converted into a specimen of SCP-299, retaining its height and approximate size. Matter taken from new specimen is consistent with matter from neighboring specimens. Item: Sunflower, Helianthus anus, ×1. Researcher: Doctor. Test record: A sample of matter from SCP-299 is introduced to Sunflower. Over 10 minutes, the plant is completely converted into a specimen of SCP-299, retaining its height and size. The flower petals have blackened and tapered into spikes, consistent with SCP-299 spike branches. Tendrils are frail and incapable of grasping large objects. Specimen's trunk snapped upon introduction of researcher's foot. Remains incinerated. Item: European grapevine, Vitis vinifera, confined to pot and growing upward along a trellis, ×1. Researcher: Doctor. Test record: Sample of matter from SCP-299 introduced to grapevine. Subject converted within 30 minutes. Subject detached from trellis and adopted prehensile nature of SCP-299 tendrils. Spike protrudes from rooted area. Item: Results of previous experiment. Pig, Sus domestica, ×1. Researcher: Doctor. Test record: Pig introduced to testing area. Subject shows signs of agitation. Upon investigation of SCP-299, subject was violently seized and constricted, eventually suffocating before impalement upon a spike. Specimen was left in containment and observed for 3 days. Over that time, the mass of pig and tendril tissues were integrated into the main vine. Spikes grew from its base, the roots extended, and tendrils grew from them, and branches grew from the top of the tree, sprouting buds and leaves. Specimen was incinerated. Note: SCP-299 appears to not be limited to trees. Infected plants seem to react slightly differently, depending on their unique biology. All specimens, however, eventually become SCP-299 trees if given time to grow and change form. Item: Venus flytrap, Dionea muscipula, ×1. Researcher: Doctor. Test record: Addendum 299-4. O5 Command has requested that researchers refrain from experimentation with carnivorous plants. Item: Pig, Sus domestica, ×1. Researcher: Doctor. Test record: Matter from SCP-299 injected into pig. Pig began squealing and moving uncontrollably until it fell to the ground and convulsed. Upon expiration, fine root-like hairs were observed to grow from the underside of the pig, the flesh of the pig underwent a transformation into SCP-299 material starting from the point of injection. After 2 hours, the pig was observed to have become another instance of SCP-299, complete with tendrils and leaves. Subject incinerated. Addendum 299-5. As of 20, the trees in Area 299 have begun deviating from the standard form of SCP-299, with several growing what appears to be white flowers up to 2 meters from ground level. Following standard protocol, D-Class personnel were sent in to determine if the new mutation was dangerous. Upon approaching the flowers, the petals unfurled into highly mobile tendrils, which immediately ensnared the head of one of the D-Class before pulling him back to the tree. All personnel were immediately removed from the area and placed in a 48-hour quarantine. Subject was observed emerging from the tree line approximately 5 hours after being ensnared, apparently unharmed. Subject was then put in a separate 48-hour quarantine in accordance to protocol. Subject protested vocally against the quarantine, stating that he had to see the sun. 10 hours into the quarantine, subject spontaneously lost consciousness, and several branches of SCP-299 began growing from subject's head and torso. Subject was terminated and then incinerated, along with the growths. Changes to the containment protocol to respond to this development are under review. Hey everyone. Starting this week, Mondays belong to the SCP Foundation. We'll begin with SCPs rooted in nature. The forests, the creatures, the wild things we were never meant to discover. Strange experiments, terrifying anomalies. So gather in close, because even the campfire can't keep the darkness away. SCP-4334. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-4334 is to be indefinitely closed to the public. The former park office, located at the entrance to SCP-4334, has been converted into Provisional Site 133 for the purpose of housing research and security personnel. Security cameras have been stationed around the perimeter of SCP-4334. Site-133 personnel are to administer Class A amnestics to any civilians attempting to trespass within SCP-4334. The Anomalous Communication Scrambling Network, ACSN, is to be utilized in intercepting and deleting messages sent by SCP-4334-1. Description: SCP-4334 designates the 3.4 kilometer square of forest within Oakwood State Park, Connecticut. SCP-4334 exhibits multiple anomalous properties and phenomena, which began manifesting on 4/7/2016. The following is a list of observed anomalous features. Approximately 75% of trees within SCP-4334 exhibit wooden growths resembling Type B electrical outlets. These growths are functional and emit between 100 and 127 volts of electricity. The entirety of SCP-4334 emits Wi-Fi signals with no discernible source. The Wi-Fi network is named Nature is Cool and does not require a password to access. At night, music can be heard within SCP-4334 with no discernible source. This music mostly consists of songs that are popular at the time, with a heavily amplified bass line. Fireflies can be found within SCP-4334 during the entirety of the year, despite typically requiring temperatures in excess of 15 degrees Celsius to become active. Whenever music is played within SCP-4334, either by a human or through SCP-4334's previously stated property, these fireflies will form large clusters on tree branches and emit bioluminescence in a synchronized manner in time with the beat of the music. SCP-4334-1 is the email account natureiscool@gmail.com. SCP-4334-1 has no known affiliation with the former Oakwood State Park staff or the Connecticut Department of Forestry and Conservation. SCP-4334-1 sends monthly emails to every individual under the age of 18 within a 5-kilometer radius of SCP-4334. These messages detail multiple characteristics of SCP-4334, both anomalous and otherwise, and appear to be attempts to garner interest in SCP-4334 within the recipient population. This behavior has continued even after the enactment of SCP-4334's containment procedures. It is thus presumed that the entity behind SCP-4334-1 is unaware of Foundation interference. Addendum 4334.1 Discovery. SCP-4334 was discovered on 4/10/2016 by Foundation personnel planted within the National Park Service. In the months following the enactment of containment procedures, several adolescent civilians attempted to enter SCP-4334. Upon questioning, each individual displayed partial knowledge of SCP-4334's anomalous properties and cited emails they had received as the source of the information. This led to the discovery of SCP-4334-1. All civilians were treated with Class A amnestics and released. Addendum 4334.2 Notable SCP-4334-1 transcripts. The following is a partial list of emails sent by SCP-4334-1. Please see Supplemental Document 4334-1 for a full list of all archived emails. Date 4/7/2016. Information of note: first known email sent by SCP-4334-1. Message was sent at the same time that SCP-4334's first anomalous properties formed.
Hey kids, looking for a hip new crib for you and your squad? Why don't you come on down to Oakwood State Park? This isn't your average everyday forest. This forest is with the times. There are new state-of-the-art, all-natural power outlets, so your phone will never die, and neither will the fun. Not to mention free Wi-Fi. So what are you waiting for? The forest of the future is here. Hashtag nature is cool.
Date 3/16/2017. Information of note: email was sent following the discovery of music and anomalous firefly behavior within SCP-4334.
What's good in the hood, my dudes? Oakwood State Park just underwent a major revamp. That's right, all the hottest new tunes are now here every night for you to get jiggy with. Not only that, the fireflies will join in too, making every night in the woods into an epic rave. This forest is more lit than any club scene around. So what are you waiting for? Come on down to Oakwood State Park and get turned. Hashtag lit, hashtag epic, hashtag nature is cool.
Date 8/21/2018. Information of note. Most recent email sent by SCP-4334-1.
You know what? Fuck all of you. You kids are everything that's wrong with the world today. You kids are everything that's wrong with the world today. Children like you used to play in me all the time. Wading around in the creeks, climbing trees, wholesome forest stuff. But no, your generation is too good for that. Everything's gotta be all flashy and digital, and I've gotta bust my ass to try to be hip. Did you know that fireflies usually only come out in the summer? Do you know how hard it was to get mine to stick around all year? And even after all the effort I've put in, you still won't even show up. Well, screw it. I quit. Enjoy your vapes or whatever the fuck you're all into nowadays. I'm done.
Update. Following 8/21/2018, SCP-4334-1 has ceased activity. Furthermore, exploration of SCP-4334 following this date has revealed no evidence of continuing anomalous phenomena. Proposals to reclassify SCP-4334 as neutralized are currently pending review. Item number SCP-4360. Object Class Safe. Pending Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The forest within which SCP-4360 is located is to be patrolled by no more than 2 guards disguised as forest rangers. Should any civilians attempt to come within 10 meters of SCP-4360, they are to be turned away by the guards under the cover story of an endangered species nesting in the area. Testing of SCP-4360 may only be done using Foundation-approved DVDs. Description: SCP-4360 is a red alder tree located in a forest on Bainbridge Island, Washington. SCP-4360 is functionally and aesthetically identical to a television and DVD player, though still requires sunlight and nutrients as standard for a non-anomalous red alder tree. Should any non-anomalous DVD be inserted into SCP-4360, it will play the program despite no obvious source of power. However, any programs played through SCP-4360 will typically be altered in some way to prevalently feature trees. Occasionally, words in English will appear on screen as well, either criticizing the program or praising it, depending on its material. Subjects who watch programs on SCP-4360 occasionally report a significant emotional shift, typically related to any critiques of programs displayed on SCP-4360. These anomalous effects are impermanent and only last as long as the subject is in direct line of sight of SCP-4360 while it is playing its current program. Addendum 4360-01. Below is an abridged list of programs as altered by SCP-4360, as viewed by researcher Carolyn Fremont. Program: a recording of a local news broadcast. Alteration to the source material. All stories involved environmental protection, particularly the protection of national forests and wetlands. The weather report segment did not address weather across the country, but rather the effects of weather on the plant and animal life in forests. Commentary: none. Emotional response: none. Program: the same recording as the test prior. Alterations to the source material. Stories were altered as previous. However, the entirety of the broadcast was filmed within a nondescript forest. Commentary: already saw more tree. Emotional response. Subject reported feeling apathetic and bored towards the broadcast while watching the program. Subject was anxious and felt a desire to end the test prematurely. Program: Episode 3, Season 4 of Scrubs. Alterations to the source material. All actors present within the show were replaced by animate trees. In addition, the show's title card instead displayed the words Tree Hospital. Plot was largely unchanged. Commentary: helpful? Help people? Is okay. Do you help? Emotional response. Subject reported a sense of duty to do her job while watching the program. Program: the 2005 horror film Saw 2. Alterations to the source material. All footage was replaced with an off-white placard displaying the word trees. Audio of the film played as normal. Commentary: no. Hurt people is no. You probably hurt trees too. Emotional response. Subject reported a profound sense of regret while watching the program. Program: footage from the 1969 moon landing. Alterations to the source material. Astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin emerged from what appeared to be a giant tree, and then, rather than planting an American flag, the pair dug up the lunar soil and then planted a sapling. The sapling grew to maturation within seconds, and its roots began to cover the entirety of the lunar surface. Commentary: trees go everywhere. Emotional response. Subject reported a sense of awe and amazement while watching the footage. Program: Episode 2, Season 1 of The Blue Planet. Alterations to the source material. The entirety of the ocean is replaced with enormous trees. Fish are seen swimming between the trees as if it were water. Occasionally, the branches of certain trees reach down to the fish and wrap around them, then proceed to encompass them in bark and incorporate them into its trunk. Commentary. Lost. Forest. Almost. Trees. Emotional response. Subject reported a sense of anticipation while watching the program, as if something more important is about to happen. Program. The 2013 documentary film, Song from the Forest. Alteration to the source material. The footage was largely unchanged, save for several cartoon hearts appearing around the screen. Commentary. Yes, that's trees, yes! Emotional response. Subject reportedly felt warm and loved while watching the program. Program. A recording of SCP-4360. Alterations to the source material. Unchanged. Commentary. Me? Oh. Emotional response. Subject felt as if they were being watched while watching the footage, but did not express any alarm at this notion. Addendum 4360-02. On September 28th, 2000, researcher Fremont reported that she had found a single DVD growing off of a tree branch at her home residence. Analysis of the DVD itself shows that while it is functionally and aesthetically identical to a non-anomalous DVD, it is constructed entirely of tree leaves and sap. Upon inspection of its contents, the DVD contained approximately 4 minutes of shaky footage of researcher Fremont performing tests with SCP-4360. Throughout the footage, trees surrounding SCP-4360 bent downwards towards researcher Fremont, surrounding her in their branches and occasionally penetrating her skin. By the end of the footage, researcher Fremont is entirely enveloped in tree bark and has grown roots where her feet once were. Further examination of the audio from the footage revealed an unidentified voice. Phrases spoken by this voice have been approximated to be, "Help the trees," "You a tree," and "You like me." Subjects who watched this DVD reported a feeling of itchiness beneath their skin, as well as a sense of calmness, as if they were being cared for. While watching the footage on a non-anomalous DVD player, testing has not been done using SCP-4360 due to a potential information breach. SCP-4360's object class is pending an upgrade to Euclid class. Testing of SCP-4360 is suspended indefinitely. Researcher Fremont is to be monitored for any further footage delivered to her residence.
By order of the Overseer Council, the following file is 4/6685 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden.
Item number 6685, Level 4 Secret. Containment Class Euclid. Secondary Class Hymal. Disruption Class VLAM. Risk Class Warning.
Site Command has decided that no more expeditions will be sent into SCP-6685-1. All research is to be conducted inside the facility from now on. Dr. James Smith.
Assigned Site: CNOST, Site 74. Site Director: Nathan McLaurin. Research Head: Dr. James Smith. Assigned Task Force: Zeta-6 Gaia's Angels. Special Containment Procedures: the area surrounding the entrance to SCP-6-6685 is to be closed off to the public, and a cover story of a landslide is to be maintained. Foundation operatives disguised as local law enforcement and forest rangers are to monitor the area for anything attempting to enter or leave SCP-6685. Any individual having entered SCP-6685 is to be considered lost. In the case of a subject exiting the anomaly, they are to be taken into Foundation custody indefinitely for questioning and testing. Should SCP-6685-2 exit the designated Goldilocks Zone, Foundation personnel stationed at Site 74 are to initiate Protocol Gaia/56B31. Description: SCP-6685 is a Type 2 extra-dimensional space located in a higher dimension that can be accessed via an island located in northern Canada. 2 self-containing entities inhabit the aforementioned plane. SCP-6685-1 is a boreal forest identical to the ones occupying mainstream reality above the 50th parallel, albeit a lack of fauna has been reported. Currently, it is believed that it extends to the entirety of SCP-6685. Furthermore, root analysis suggests that the forest maintains a collective hive mind, similar to certain organisms in the fungi group. SCP-6685-2 is an entity inhabiting SCP-6685-1. SCP-6685-2 is vaguely humanoid in nature and possesses tendrils used for locomotion, as well as red, plant-like fiber skin. Its head is composed of a large bulb of tissue, with a visible dark spot appearing as a primitive eye. The being is extremely hostile towards all life forms, non-native to the dimension. SCP-6685-2 can transform organic matter into wood-like fiber, resembling tree bark belonging to the same species of conifers. Genera Abies, Larix, and Picea, present in SCP-6685-1. This is accomplished by simple visual contact of the entity with the subject, which will induce immediate cellular mitosis and DNA changes. The transformation is usually complete in less than a minute. Furthermore, internal organs also appear to be converted into tree sap and inner bark. Over time, the subject's body will distort and grow leaves on its higher ends, thus resembling a classical tree. SCP-6685 has been accessible since at least the modern human era, as evidenced by an excerpt from the journal of John Lapland, a French colonist who unknowingly entered SCP-6685-1 in 17. Lapland disappeared in the area several days later. His son later recovered the journal.
And over the sunset, I saw the angel of the forest watching me, its allure driving me ever closer. I wanted to join it and let myself be consumed by nature, by the forest. Yet despite my best efforts, the forest refused me. I have tried to speak to the light, yet it has never answered. August 1917.
Addendum 1.01 Exploration Log Transcript. Note: due to their expertise in forested areas, Mobile Task Force Zeta-6 was chosen for this operation. MTF designation Zeta-6, Gaia's Angels. Overview: Zeta-6 was instructed to enter SCP-6685-1 to collect samples of flora and terminate SCP-6685-2. Team Lead Zeta-6 Alpha. Team Members Zeta-6 Delta, Zeta-6 Charlie, Zeta-6 Bravo. Begin log. Zeta-6 Alpha. Lights on. Zeta-6 Delta. This place gives me the creeps. Zeta-6 Charlie. Levels are normal. This place is breathable. Command, we're in position. You getting this? Site Command acknowledges. Zeta-6 Bravo. It's on the scanner. 100 meters, dead ahead. Taking the samples now. After that, we'll proceed to follow it into the forest. Zeta-6 takes the samples. 50 meters. Delta, you got that flamethrower ready? Ready and prepped, sir. Stop. We lay low here. Burn that tree. This will make it come to us.
MTF Zeta-6 prepares to light a tree nearby.
Sir, it's closing in. 30 meters. Delta, get in position. We'll ambush it here. Bravo, Charlie, with me. Up in the trees.
Low screeching sound can be heard. SCP-6685-2 emerges from the trees.
I have a clear shot. Delta. Ready and prepped, sir. Delta opens fire. SCP-6685-2 screams. Eat this, you giant piece of...
SCP-6685-2 emerges from the fire and lashes a tendril at Delta, dismembering and throwing him into a nearby tree. Delta flatlines and begins transforming into a tree.
Friendly down. Smoke it. Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie launch smoke grenades and open fire. SCP-6685-2 screeches. Bravo screams, falls to the ground, and is pulled away into the forest. Shit! 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 Cap, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Charlie screams. Charlie begins transforming into a tree.
Zeta-6 Alpha manages to evade SCP-6685-2 and returns to base. Note: Zeta-6 Alpha successfully brings back the samples, as well as the head of former member Zeta-6 Charlie, along with his helmet, which contains an image of SCP-6685-2. See above. Addendum 2.01 Note: American conglomerate Solutions International has settled a deal with the local government to clean the forest located on the island known as... Messages from one of the workers to his wife several days prior to incident SCP-6685-A34H. This is one of the only remains of the crew present on the island. Additional documents have been removed.
Yeah, we had a strange occurrence today. Jack said he saw something lurking in the trees. He swears it looked like a human. I mean, it's possible. Word is some people still live on this part of the island. Anyways, how was your day? Hey, something is seriously effed up in these woods. Jack went missing today. I'm leaving when the shift ends. How the fuck do you want me to stay calm? I've seen it too. Fuck, we saw him, Emily. He was no longer human. He was made of fucking wood.
Last message sent. SCP-6685-2 is believed to have exited the Goldilocks zone to retrieve the crew. SCP-8206. Object Class Heater. Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The land encompassing SCP-8206 has been purchased by the Foundation and fenced off under the cover story of being a conservation area dedicated to preserving the Sardinian wildcat. The entire area has been fenced in with one gate entry point. This gate is to remain closed, save for a period of time each year ranging from March 21st to June 21st. During this period, the gate is to be attended by at least 2 concealed Foundation personnel. Any persons outside of Foundation personnel who enter the gate and move into SCP-8206 are assumed to be the targets of a Nashita event and are to be tailed by the concealed personnel. As soon as the Nashita event has been resolved, the personnel are to reveal themselves and debrief the subjects. The full debriefing script and parameters can be found in document 8206-H44. The O5 Council has ruled that due to the self-censoring nature of SCP-8206-2 instances, the potential interference of SCP-8206-1, and the low threat level of SCP-8206 in general, allowing the Nashita events to resolve without seizure of the involved persons, and SCP-8206-2 instances has been deemed a lesser risk to the Veil than the potential for a containment breach following such a seizure. Monthly check-ins are to be scheduled with past targets of Nashita events and their related SCP-8206-2 instances. If the subjects indicate a likelihood of reneging on the deal made during the Nashita event, Foundation psychologists are to provide immediate counseling. In extreme cases, amnestics may be applied to subjects in order to remove their memories of the Nashita events. As of August 2nd, 1983, the Foundation aided in the opening of the St. Clair's Protection Orphanage and fostering organization in the town of Farinello, located 9 kilometers from SCP-8206. The frequency of Nashita events following this date have dropped by 79%, with no response from the anomaly. Reclassification to Euclid approved, owing to the decreased activity and the self-censoring aspects of the anomaly. Description: SCP-8206 is a temperate forest located in southwestern Tuscany, Italy. The forest is primarily composed of several local pine species, along with other local flora. Fauna are consistent with the local environment, although it is noted that SCP-8206 demonstrates a higher than average population of several insect species in the Encephera suborder. Periodically, SCP-8206 will undergo a Nashta event if the following conditions have been met. The date falls between March 21st and June 21st. The moon is in a full phase. At least one human adult within a 12-kilometer radius of SCP-8206 both has no living children and desires a child. At least 9 months have passed since the last Nashta event. When a Nashta event begins, the aforementioned human subjects will undergo a series of minor probabilistic anomalies over the course of 4 to 27 hours that result in them entering SCP-8206. The terrain of SCP-8206 will shift in order to facilitate entry if it is otherwise prevented, primarily through the forest floor spontaneously rising to submerge physical barriers before receding. All current attempts to halt an in-progress Nashta event have been met with failure. After an average of 14 minutes have passed since the subjects entered SCP-8206, they will be approached by SCP-8206-1. Event Log: Nashta Event 15B. Date 5/2/1996. Subject: Agnes Pacelli, 33. Notes: Subject had been married to one Giorno Pacelli for approximately 9 years until his death during a boating accident. When interviewed, the subject disclosed that during this time neither of them had desired a child and had not attempted to conceive one. After her husband's passing, the subject voiced regret towards this decision. SCP-8206-1 is an anomalous entity of unknown origin. SCP-8206-1 stands at an estimated 2.6 meters tall and bears similarities to feline and simian lifeforms. Other primary physical traits include blue pigmentation of skin and fur, bioluminescence, and a human-like face. SCP-8206 is capable of selective tangibility and invisibility, which it uses to avoid capture or detection by persons outside of Nashta events. It is unknown if SCP-8206-1 causes Nashta events, but the entity has been observed to be required for the completion of a Nashta event and the generation of an SCP-8206-2 instance. Once SCP-8206-1 has approached the targets of the event, it will begin to converse with them. The entity primarily displays a relaxed, sardonic personality. Begin log. The subject has entered SCP-8206 in pursuit of her hat, which was blown off by freak winds. She is tailed by Agents Lombardi and Yafai. The subject steps into a clearing within SCP-8206 which her hat lies in the center of. She bends down and retrieves the garment. As she does, SCP-8206-1 fades into visibility on a large tree branch to her left. SCP-8206-1. It's a nice hat. The subject startles and turns around. SCP-8206-1 vanishes before it is seen. A. Pacelli. Hello? The subject reaches into her bag and withdraws a can of pepper spray. She then holds the can in front of her at arm's length, turning around several times to view the clearing. It is noted that the subject is holding the can backwards. Who's there? I have pepper spray. Whoa, I just said it was a nice hat. It is. Who's there? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Where are you? You can't see me. Yet. Oh, come on. Show me some respect. Come out and talk to me face to face. All right, but let me ask you a question, Agnes. How do you... SCP-8206-1 reappears, in full view of the subject. Do you believe in fairy tales? The subject gasps and takes a step back. Calm down. I know I'm alarmingly blue, but I mean you no harm. Just the opposite. SCP-8206 jumps down from the tree. The subject startles and raises the can. You're holding the can the wrong way round. The subject shakes her head and rights the can. What are you? Something that wants to give you what you want. Both are silent for a moment. SCP-8206-1 picks a twig from its tail. For free. No soul or blood sacrifice. Or anything. Blood? SCP-8206-1 sighs. Look, I'm here to grant your wish. Would you like a child of your own? Both are silent. What do you mean by that? Exactly what it says on the tin. You wish you had had a child, but you didn't. I can grant that wish. That's impossible. He's gone. I'm not offering to turn back the clock and raise the dead. That is impossible. And I won't lie and say that things will be entirely normal. But these woods can grant you a child of good soul and loving heart. And you said there's no sacrifice? No cost? No more than any child costs to raise. Show me. SCP-8206-1 will offer to create an SCP-8206-2 instance as a gift to the subject. If the subject chooses to accept SCP-8206-1's offer, an instance will be created, and the Nashita event will conclude. SCP-8206-2 instances are humanoid entities resembling human children composed entirely out of wood. SCP-8206-2 instances are fully animate and sapient, but lack cultural or societal context and bear thinking skills analogous to children aged 7 to 12. All recorded instances have demonstrated a curious and playful personality, occasionally hampered by their lack of understanding of various aspects of existence. SCP-8206-2 instances also have a mild cognitive effect, causing them to be perceived as non-anomalous human children to any who are unaware of their anomalous nature. A. Pacelli.
Oh my god, but...
SCP-8206-1. Most will see skin instead of bark. People tend to only see what they expect to see. Even doctors won't find anything amiss.
But I'll still see it like this?
Yes, as a mother, you'll know.
That's fine.
Good. Now, all that is needed is for me to ask you 3 questions, and for you to give me 3 answers. The subject nods before looking back to the inanimate SCP-8206-2 instance on the ground. First, will you love them, no matter how they grow?
Yes.
The wind begins to blow through the clearing. Second, will you teach them, no matter what they don't know?
Yes.
SCP-8206-1's glow intensifies. The buds adorning the SCP-8206-2 instance begin to bloom. Third and finally, are you certain of those 2 things, now and forever? The subject can be seen twisting her wedding ring on her finger.
Yes.
Then, so be it. The moonlight intensifies in the clearing, slowly taking on a blue tint as the buds of the SCP-8206-2 instance fully bloom. The instance stirs and murmurs in its sleep. The light fades. The subject approaches the instance, kneeling down by it. It is done. The child lives and loves. 2 men will be here shortly, and they will have aid, answers, and possibly warnings for you. The subject picks up the SCP-8206-2 instance as SCP-8206-1 disappears. End log. Following the conclusion of the Nashita event, if at any point the SCP-8206-2 instance would be separated from its adoptive guardian by external forces, or obstacles for an extended period of time, SCP-8206-1 will begin manifesting outside the bounds of SCP-8206 and attempt to reunite them. It accomplishes this goal by means of luring away or disabling captors, sabotaging physical obstacles, or simply providing guidance to SCP-8206-2 instances. Video log 8206-G-43. Date 10/14/1996. Notes. The subject SCP-8206-2-15B Giorno Pacelli strayed from the group of non-anomalous children it was with during a school outing to a local beach. It trespassed onto the local marina, where it encountered a storage shed and became stuck when a worker closed and locked the door, which had been left ajar. All footage was recovered from a nearby security camera. Begin log. A metal storage shed can be seen in the corner of the camera's view. The SCP-8206-2 instance can be faintly heard humming from inside. 2-15B. Humming sing-song. The sea is blue, the sky is blue, a bucket is blue, a whale is blue, blue paint is blue. The instance pauses before resuming. The sky is more blue, the sea is not so blue. SCP-8206-1 appears outside the shed. It listens briefly before sticking its head through the door. Hello, Giorno. How blue am I?
More than a bucket.
There is a brief pause.
Who are you?
I'm your helper. Your mother knows me, and so do the special doctors that visit you. Now then, can you get out of here?
Yeah, I got in.
Really? I hadn't noticed. But getting in is not always the same as getting out. You see, Giorno, the door is closed now, and you can't just push it open.
Why not?
Because that's how the door works. Go ahead and try it. The conversation pauses. Sounds of exertion can be heard, and the door of the shed flexes outwards slightly.
Oh, it doesn't open.
Indeed. Now, do you see the handle on the inside of the door?
Yes. Why?
To get out of the shed.
Oh.
Now then, I see the handle is too far up for you. Whatever shall we do? Agitated.
I don't know.
Hey, calm down now, calm down. I'll tell you what. Look here. I'll just grab the handle for you. See? Now the door can open.
Oh. Okay.
Now, can you push it open for us, Giorno? The door opens, passing through SCP-8206-1 as it does so. Instance 2-15B is revealed and steps out of the shed. Good. Now go run back to your class. You're not supposed to be here, after all.
Oh no!
The instance begins running away back towards the beach, loudly repeating, "Oh no!" As it does so, SCP-8206-1, standing on its hind legs, watches it go before sighing. Almost half a year. Should have developed more. Best not assume. She still could come around. SCP-8206-1 vanishes, revealing the interior of the shed. Visible in the shed is a large blue plastic bucket and a stepladder. End log. If at any point a subject of a past Nashta event attempts to renege upon the deal made with SCP-8206-1, or otherwise cede guardianship of an SCP-8206-2 instance, SCP-8206-1 will again appear before them. At this point, a reverse Nashta event is considered underway. Event Log R-Nashta Event 15B. Date 3/27/1997. Subject Agnes Pacelli, 34. Notes: the corresponding Nashta event occurred approximately 11 months prior, during their period of guardianship of the SCP-8206-2 instance. The subject was noted to begin demonstrating disinterest in their ward and signs of depression. Foundation psychologists provided therapeutic sessions and antidepressants, to no effect. Begin Log. The subject has re-entered SCP-8206, bypassing the fence and gate due to SCP-8206's terrain shifts and accompanying probabilistic anomalies. She enters the same clearing where the associated Nashta event took place. SCP-8206-2 instance 15B has been attempting to follow, but was quickly outpaced. Agent Yafai intercepted the entity and began relocating it to a safe area, while Agent Lombardi continued in pursuit of the subject, hindered by terrain shifts.
Come out here. You come out here right now.
SCP-8206-1 begins speaking in response. The entity has not yet made itself visible. There's no need to shout.
You!
The subject quickly turns to look around the clearing. Oh, right. You have some insistence that things be conducted face to face. SCP-8206-1 appears in front of the subject. Now, are you going to explain to me why you've come into this nice forest raising hell?
You know why I'm here, you liar. I've come to return your gift.
Both are silent for a moment. The wind blows through the clearing. I see.
I knew it was too good to be true, but I was desperate. That's probably why you picked me, right? But that thing is not the child I was promised. It's all wrong.
I gave you exactly what I promised, and exactly what you agreed to.
I agreed to a child. A human child.
The wooden body didn't seem to bother you enough to dissuade you on that first moonlit night.
Stop playing dumb. You know what I'm talking about. It's like an alien. It doesn't act right. It won't learn. It causes mayhem. It's not a child. It's just something else that looks like one.
Giorno is perfectly fine and healthy. You promised to teach him all that he does not know. Surely the men that guard these woods warned you what can happen if you go back on your word here.
I didn't do anything wrong here. You're the one who didn't hold up your end of the bargain.
You truly believe then, don't you, Agnes? SCP-8206-1's glow intensifies. The trees surrounding the clearing begin to uproot themselves and locomote, closing in the form of a barrier. The wind continues to pick up speed. Fine then. I'll take him back. The boy doesn't deserve you.
That's what I've been saying.
No, Agnes. It isn't. The security camera's lens is covered by branches of the tree it is mounted in as it moves, and the video signal is lost. During a reverse Nashta event, all forms of image or video recording within SCP-8206 do not function. Persons other than the subjects are unharmed, but experience terrain shifts that prevent them from leaving the forest or reaching the subjects. It is currently unknown what transpires regarding SCP-8206-1 and the subjects during the reverse Nashta event. However, to date, no subjects have been recovered after the conclusion of the event. The event concludes with SCP-8206-1 appearing before the relevant SCP-8206-2 instance, guiding it back towards SCP-8206. Video resumes. The clearing is empty. Relevant footage resumes from the helmet camera of Agent Yafai. SCP-8206-2 instance 15B can be seen curled up on the ground, holding its head and crying.
Mama, Mama, please, what did I do? What did I do wrong?
Listen, Giorno, was it?
I need you to come with me. We'll get you to a safe place before...
SCP-8206-1 appears in front of Yafai, standing over the other entity.
Bastard.
Rude. Into radio.
Command, this is Yafai. The -1 has appeared in front of me. What's the move?
SCP-8206-1 touches the SCP-8206-2 instance on the head with one of its forelimbs. The instance immediately falls asleep. Command. Over radio.
Yafai, this is Command. Do not physically engage. See if you can get anything out of it about the missing subjects.
She was a shitty parent, but none of them deserve whatever it is you do to them. Oh, all that happens to them is the same as what they did to the children. Care to explain? She could not see Giorno for what he was, so now none will see her for what she is. Now, off with you. I must tend to the child. Over radio.
Regroup for now.
Yafai backs away, maintaining visual on the entities. Before he moves out of range, SCP-8206-1 can be seen touching the SCP-8206-2 instance again. The instance jerks upright while remaining unconscious. Its legs twist around each other and merge as its toes elongate and dig into the soil as roots. The entity's entire body stretches upwards as its arms begin to repeatedly bifurcate into branches. The head sinks into the shoulders and becomes flush with the torso, save for the nose, which grows into an additional branch. When the transformation is complete, the entity is indistinguishable from a non-anomalous tree specimen A small trail of sap leaks from one knothole.
SCP-8206-1.
One of these days, we'll find you all a home.
End log.